Sunny is a young orphan girl with a deep love for music. She constantly searches for unique sound boxes. One gloomy autumn afternoon, she stumbled upon an unfamiliar street corner and discovered a peculiar antique shop filled with strange items. As she stepped inside, her eyes were drawn to a music box resting on a wooden stand. The box appeared old, with its oak surface peeling and the lid carved with ancient floral patterns. It seemed like no one paid attention to it. But Sunny was irresistibly drawn to the box's antique and mysterious appearance. Unable to take her eyes off the box, Sunny approached and asked the shopkeeper about it. The shopkeeper, an elderly man who looked like he had endured many hardships, nodded and agreed to sell the box to Sunny for a surprisingly cheap price. He mentioned that the box once belonged to an old friend who had recently passed away. He warned her that the box was a bit strange, but Sunny didn't pay much attention. She eagerly bought the box and brought it back to her small apartment. As night fell, she placed the box on the table and examined it closely. The wood was smooth and polished, making the box gleam under the light of her old lamp. Sunny held the antique music box she had just purchased from the antique shop in her hands, marveling at its beauty and mystery. Her eyes lingered on the intricate carvings on the lid, swirling patterns and floral designs that exuded an air of craftsmanship from a bygone era. Unable to wait any longer, Sunny placed the box on the table and gently turned the lid. The sound of the brown vinyl record inside began to play, and gradually, soft classical melodies filled the room. The gentle piano tunes brought her immense satisfaction, and she became absorbed in the calming music. At first, Sunny was delighted with the music box and often opened it to enjoy the sweet melodies from the vinyl record inside. However, in the days that followed, she started experiencing something unsettling. The box began to play music on its own, without her opening the lid. Initially, she thought it might be a technical malfunction, but as the phenomenon became more frequent and bizarre, she grew fearful. The music box seemed to have a life of its own, independent of whether Sunny opened it or not. Sometimes when she left the room and returned, the box had opened itself and was emitting eerie tunes, as if calling her closer. The once soothing melodies were replaced by strange whispers and cold cries for help, stirring deep fear within her. As time passed, Sunny noticed more and more strange and disturbing occurrences. On quiet nights, when the whole neighborhood was asleep, she would often hear odd sounds coming from the living room. Sometimes it was echoes of the classical melodies she had heard from the box, but other times it was strange string sounds or chilling cries for help. Additionally, some of her household items would mysteriously disappear or be moved to strange places. It felt as though an invisible presence was constantly watching and interfering in her daily life. Sunny began to suffer from insomnia and exhaustion. Moreover, she was plagued by terrifying dreams of a ruined house, and the shadow of a strange young girl appearing every night, robbing her of any sense of peace. These events made her feel increasingly anxious and confused. She couldn't explain what was happening and felt herself being drawn into a mysterious story surrounding the music box she had purchased. It seemed the music box was not merely a decorative item but harbored a strange entity, a supernatural energy that Sunny couldn't comprehend. She decided to return to the shop to inquire about the box, but the shopkeeper had mysteriously disappeared, and the shop now lay abandoned and desolate. Disappointed, Sunny returned home. She stared at the music box on her table. A thought crossed her mind, and in a split second, she quickly grabbed it and rushed to the door. She walked to the garbage room, feeling a pang of regret but hoping that discarding the box would put an end to the strange occurrences. Just as she was about to drop it into the trash, she suddenly heard a cry for help emanating from the music box. Startled, Sunny's heart raced. She thought she was imagining it, but the voice grew louder and more distinct. Sunny returned to her apartment, sitting alone in the quiet room, with only the soft sound of rain tapping on the window. The music box on the table continued to emit faint cries, as though someone was screaming in despair. With a heart full of doubt and tension, Sunny approached the box and cautiously opened the lid. Immediately, the eerie sounds filled the room, but the cry for help was clearer than ever. She could hear pleading voices, the sobs of someone from another world, someone no longer alive. An overwhelming sense of dread and fear enveloped Sunny. She didn't know what to do, whether to shut the lid immediately or continue listening to uncover more. But one thing was certain: her life had not been the same since the haunting cries began from this strange music box. In her state of confusion and fear, Sunny decided to ask the music box directly, "Who are you? Why are you crying for help?" At first, there was no response. The room was silent, save for the soft rain outside and Sunny's heavy breathing. The tension was palpable. Just when she was about to give up and close the lid, a faint, distant voice echoed from within. I've been trapped here for so long. Please help me." It was the voice of a woman, frail and full of emotion. Sunny's heart skipped a beat. She could hardly believe what she had just heard, but the sound from the music box was undeniable. "Who are you? Why are you trapped here?" Sunny asked again, her voice trembling. They did something to me. They locked me in here, never letting me out. The woman's voice trailed off, but the despair was unmistakable.